As the Texas Longhorns claimed the 2022 Women's Volleyball National Championship and the confetti fell, that means time to turn its attention to Tampa Bay. The road to Tampa Bay, we are officially on the clock for the NCAA Volleyball Championship Final Four at Amalie Arena, December 13th to the 16th, coming up in 2023. Welcome to part two of our Game Day Everyday podcast, alongside Rob Higgins, the Executive Director of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. I am Ryan Bass. Rob, I know how copious of a note taker you are. You and your team were able to be out there in Omaha, just taking in the events, snapping photos, truly being there, not only to promote our hosting of the Final Four coming up in December of 2023, but also to make sure that you were able to take in and observe how Omaha was putting on, a fantastic event. As we get into part two here, just curious, as you take some of those notes down, what were some of the observations you had from Omaha that you can apply here to Tampa Bay?
Certainly there was a lot. I mean, you listen to feedback from the teams and the coaches and the NCAA, and there was so many great things that took place in Omaha that we want to take and add to our playbook. There's other things that, quite frankly, maybe from a weather perspective and other angles that aren't quite as applicable. I don't think we'll need our snow plows or anything else as part of it. We'll probably leverage the outdoors a little more versus avoiding them. But there was a lot of great takeaways. And one of the things that I wanted to share with listeners is that on our website, we actually did a journal of sorts for each of the days in Omaha. Our good friend Joey Johnston, we would download notes and pictures to him each day, and then he wrote an article literally every day. So you can go through the 4 or 5 days in Omaha on our website, and it focuses on what we learned each day. I mean, for example, one of the things that a lot of people maybe don't understand or know about the championship is that the American Volleyball Coaches Association, the AVCA, does their annual convention in conjunction with it. So we literally have thousands of coaches, at the high school level, the club level, every level of college that all come here as part of it. They have a lot of educational sessions as part of it. They do on-court demonstrations. It'll all take place at the Tampa Convention Center here a year from now. And then they all come to the matches too. So no matter which teams qualify, we're going to have the fans of those teams. We're going to have local volleyball supporters. And then we're going to have a ton of volleyball coaches here from all around the country, many of which haven't been here since 2009. So that's just one small tidbit of what you can expect. But again, if you check out our website, you can get our daily diary of sorts from Omaha and learn exactly what we learned there as well.
Joey Johnston did such a great job chronicling day by day the view from Omaha, and obviously does a fantastic job each and every time. So I encourage you to check that out, tampabaysports.org, to go back and just kind of read through. You get a true palpable sense of what the scene was like in Omaha, and no one does that better than our good friend Joey Johnston. As we get into, by the way, if you are tuning in part two of this episode, make sure you go back and listen to part one of the Game Day Everyday podcast. We recapped some of our thoughts from Omaha. We had a chance to catch up with a few very special guests. We announced, of course, that the 2023 NCAA volleyball season will begin and end in Tampa Bay as we get ready for the Road to Tampa Bay Volleyball Invitational, which will be August 25th through the 26th. Again, all of the notes and all the information on that is in part one of our Game Day Everyday episode. But here on part two, Rob, one of the things that you hit on that really struck a chord with me in part one was your time at USF when you were coming up and you were actually, when you were the basketball manager, and you had an opportunity to kind of grow with the women's volleyball program and get an opportunity. One of our guests that we actually had, Coach Michelle Collier, you spoke to some of your experience learning from her, the USF great. Volleyball has had such a special place in my heart. It was my first beat that I covered in college when I joined UCF and came there in the summer of 2007. I got assigned to the UCF volleyball beat, and I got an opportunity to truly love and gain an appreciation for the game. When I went on to work at Bright House Sports Network, I was the exclusive volleyball play-by-play announcer of Bright House Sports Network, and got a chance to call volleyball games on the high school level. And I just fell in love with the sport and the passion and the hard work and the dedication that these ladies go through to be so excellent at the game of volleyball. I had a chance to watch these NCAA championships here this past weekend and truly take in the sport. Rob, it's so cool to see the growth of this game. It's such a special game. I know that you personally are touched by it with your daughter, Lainey, and how she's kind of come up through the volleyball ranks. Obviously, at Oglethorpe, we're continuing to watch her career grow at the collegiate level. But how special is this game, and how cool is it to continue to witness the growth of women's volleyball, not just here in the Tampa Bay area, but on a national level as well?
Well, it's an amazing sport. I'm fortunate, as you referenced, to be a VolleyDad. My daughter she tried every sport imaginable. I think we look back and counted probably 12 different sports or activities, and then just really gravitated towards volleyball. And I've been fortunate to be a part of her journey all the way from, U10 club all the way up to now with her playing at Oglethorpe in Atlanta. And it's just such a fun sport to watch. It requires so much athleticism and intelligence, and I think that's the reason why the TV viewership continues to increase. It's the number one team sport being played across the country for girls, and certainly you see that happening here in the state of Florida as well, from the size of the club volleyball events that we host not only in Tampa, but the ones that are taking place in or nearby Orlando too. I mean, you talk about hundreds and hundreds of teams that are not only playing, but then also coming to visit to play as well. So the growth has been tremendous. I think it's going to be on full display when you talk about not having been here in 14 years with the NCAA Volleyball Championship. We see this as a phenomenal chance to showcase that growth really on the biggest stage. So as you can't tell, if you can't tell, we certainly are very pumped about it.
The game has grown significantly, and it's going to be on full display here in Tampa in 2023. You mentioned youth participation. Girls high school volleyball has increased 15% since 2002. So we've seen a huge growth there. The college viewership, you mentioned the ratings last year. I mean, last year's NCAA final drew a record for ESPN, 1.2 million viewers. And then this regular season, the attendance record was set twice back in September. So you're starting to see, from an attendance standpoint, the true passion there is for women's volleyball. On the Olympic level, the U.S. won its first ever women's indoor volleyball Olympic gold last summer in Tokyo. That, of course, helps the game grow. So, and one of the things that I thought was really cool, Rob, and I hope that we get an opportunity to carry this over to Tampa. ESPN launched kind of this red zone-like whip around show for its coverage around Division I women's volleyball this year, called The Fifth Set. We're starting to see an attention at a truly really niche level for women's volleyball. And I love that. And it's going to be really cool to see how we set the stage and how we carry that forward. Now that our city has the torch to truly help this game grow, it's going to be fun with the flip-flops in the sand and in our beautiful Tampa Bay area to host this championship. And truly proud, Rob, of the efforts of our entire team, especially Claire Lessinger and what she's doing, who has such a passion for the sport of volleyball to help really spearhead bringing this event here to Tampa Bay in 23.
Oh, we've talked about it so many times in the past. Claire's phenomenal, one of our dream team that we have assembled here and with Team Tampa Bay at the Sports Commission. But you look at this event specifically, back in 2009, she was the head coach at USF, and we got to know her really well. I knew her before that, but got to know her really well because she was a member of our local organizing committee. And then shortly after that event, working with her was so great that we were able to bring her on board here full time, and she's been just a huge part of every event that we've had here. And to get an opportunity to sit with her a little bit, take a breather in Omaha as we all were sprinting around and ask some questions to get her perspective was fantastic. So let's listen into that interview that took place at the ABCA convention with our great friend and teammate, Claire Lessinger.
We are joined by Vice President of Events for the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, our great friend and teammate, Claire Lessinger. Welcome back to the show, Claire.
Thanks, Rob. Pleasure to be here.
So what are some of the lessons that we've learned here this week? I know you've been here since Wednesday and had an opportunity to visit with a ton of coaches as well as fans and everybody in between. What are some of the early takeaways?
Yeah, I think, what's been most beneficial is just to really see it, feel it, listen to folks, what their expectations are from this championship. Omaha's done an amazing job, the NCAA, the ABCA, but for us, figuring out how to keep the momentum going, find ways to uniquely elevate the championship, and of course the student-athlete experience. So just making sure we're attending everything we possibly can, getting around the city and seeing the look and decor from touchdown at the airport, all the touches, to the hotels, to the arena, and taking it all in, taking as many notes as we possibly can, talking to as many people as we possibly can, and creating excitement and enthusiasm.
Now we're sitting in the AVCA convention. You can actually hear some of the sessions going on in the background. For those that don't know that acronym and don't know what that means, tell us a little bit about the AVCA convention.
Yeah, so the AVCA convention is the American Volleyball Coaches Association. It takes place alongside the championship. So you have their member database is high school, club, collegiate, you name it. If you're coaching volleyball, they're trying to get you here, and they're creating the most robust agenda, something for everyone. But they're also doing showcases that have athletes here, so creating recruiting opportunities for the coaches. It's nonstop action, as you mentioned. We've got stuff going on courts. We've got vendors here. Then there's a lot of classroom sessions. You've got the leaders of the sport coming here and sharing their expertise and knowledge. It's really incredible. And then all these folks go to the game, so they're here to really celebrate an entire year of volleyball success and grow the game.
So we're sitting in our booth within the AVCA marketplace and had a chance to visit with a ton of coaches all week long. What has been their reaction to getting a chance to go to Tampa next year?
Pure excitement. We're out of all of our tchotchkes. They've been very popular. They were sunglasses, by the way. But no, I think I was just sharing with a friend, I think what's so cool is so many were in Tampa in 2009. So they're coming up to the booth, they're engaging, they're telling us stories about when we last hosted, and then we can point to the banners behind us and say, and this is all that's changed. And to the footprint and the walkability, convenience, accessibility of what they're going to experience in our new vibrant downtown. I mean, they truly will not recognize what has transpired since the last time they were there. So they're clearly excited about the weather, of course, but I think they're just really excited to have the championship back in Tampa and in the South.
Now, switching things up, we've also had a booth at the arena.
Yes.
And had an opportunity to visit with all the fans. What has been their excitement level like as well?
It has been very similar. The traffic was nonstop at the booth on the concourse, and we're so appreciative of the NCAA and AVCA who give us the chance to do this. But the enthusiasm, it makes our job pretty easy when you stand there and you're promoting Tampa in the next year. But I think because it's been so long since it's been in Tampa, there's even this heightened and elevated level of excitement. So again, we've just been talking and selling what they can expect to experience. People are booking hotels now. They're anxious, they're excited, which just makes us even more anxious and excited to host.
And we just made a really special announcement in terms of debuting the Road to Tampa Bay Invitational. Can you take the listeners behind the scenes of how that all came together, what exactly is going to happen and why it's so important to us as a host committee?
Absolutely. So the Road to Tampa Bay, the initial goal was to start the NCAA season, volleyball season in Tampa and ended in Tampa. But then it also gives us as a host city and with our partners at Amalie Arena, USF, the host institution, an opportunity to do a dry run in the arena to re-prepare ourselves to host volleyball at Amalie Arena. So that was kind of the dual-fold mission. But then we wanted to go out and recruit the highest caliber teams we possibly could to make it really appealing to the volleyball fans. So we'll have top 25 teams coming and battling it out that opening weekend. There's going to be some really cool stories that we can thread throughout those opponents that are going to play each other. And then again, it gives us an opportunity to market, promote, cross-promote that match, the NCAA championship coming in December, and try to sell tickets right out of the gates, August through December.
So 4 great programs coming. We've got Florida, Penn State, Georgia Tech, and USF. And they all have one similarity in common in addition to being great programs, and that's they're led by female head coaches.
Yes.
Why was that so important to us in terms of as we identified potential teams for that event?
Yes, so that was very intentional in identifying programs that were led by female coaches. And then, as mentioned, we've got some really cool storytelling with those, because you've got Georgia Tech, who Michelle Collier was the greatest of all-time player at USF, coming back home. Mary Wise, who runs, the top program in the state, one of the top programs in the country. We know that will draw from a fan base. You got your host institution that's going to get to match up with an in-state rivalry. And then you got Penn State coming, that, won in 09. So you've got that story too to talk about a program that was there in 09 and won it in 09. But for us, it's about women supporting women. So we will leverage all of the legacy initiatives that we continue to invest in our community. We'll find unique ways to empower young female student athletes through that hosting effort, and really make sure that we are not leaving any stone unturned when it comes to tapping the youth volleyball market in our entire state and drive attendance, awareness, and growth of the game.
Well said. Now, last question. How excited are you personally to finally host? So you and I obviously knew each other at USF.
Right.
We got to know each other even more when you were the head coach at USF, and USF was our host institution in 2009. Shortly after you came over and started working with the Sports Commission and have helped run all these great events, from Super Bowl to WrestleMania to Frozen Fours to Women's Final Fours, but not a volleyball championship.
Right.
So we finally have it coming. You were like the mayor walking around Omaha, seeing folks that you hadn't seen in quite some time, visiting with old friends, meeting new friends. How excited are you personally, Claire Lessinger, to get an opportunity to help lead Tampa finally hosting another NCAA volleyball championship?
I kind of feel like the player that's going to win the national championship tonight when they go, I have no words, because I'm so excited. That's kind of how I feel about this opportunity. It really is. It's my old world and new world uniting. I know we don't have favorite events, so I'm not going to go out and say that, but I think everyone can sense what I mean. And that, the opportunity to work so closely with, as you mentioned, friends, colleagues. I have been blessed to coach and play this sport a long time, and so that network and leveraging that network to really hopefully make sure that Tampa shines and that we sell out is a dream come true. So it's been a long wait, because 10 years, Rob, I've been at the Sports Commission. You promised me this would come.
I know. That's how we kept keep you here for so long, was just the further we pushed it out, we could make sure we had you locked in. But Claire, you've done an awesome job getting us to this point. Everything around this trip, the bid to this trip, to everything I know we're all gonna do over this next year to make sure that it's a huge success. So thank you so much for all your efforts. Thanks for joining us today, and it's going to be an amazing journey over these next 365 days.
Thank you. I cannot wait.
Always great to hear from Claire. Rob, you can hear throughout that interview, and even just talking to her, the passion she has for the sport, how excited she is for 2023, and truly how we're going to put the best foot forward in terms of showing off the growth of our city. 14 years in the making, as we've been discussing. I love that Claire was there in 2009, obviously with as the USF volleyball coach, and now gets an opportunity to kind of lead the way. And so it's very special. We got one more interview left for this part 2 of the Game Day Everyday podcast. Another one of our friends was up there in Omaha for an opportunity to take it in, the USF Senior Associate Athletic Director for Administration. Dr. Jodie, it was great to visit with her, Rob. Her perspective up there was incredible. This is someone who oversees men's and women's track, cross country, but also women's volleyball, and adding the sport of beach volleyball as well at USF. Good to talk to Dr. Jodie up there in Omaha as well.
Yeah, USF has been such a fantastic partner on each of these collegiate championships as our host institution. Michael Kelly and his team really pour their heart and soul into partnering with us. And so to have Jodie Libadisos with us as part of the host effort, it only made a ton of sense because of how involved USF is. And it's to have them also in the Road to Tampa Bay Invitational is incredible, and we just truly appreciate all of their support. So let's listen in as we dive into all the details with Jodie in terms of their role as our host institution.
So, Senior Associate Athletic Director for Administration, what do your duties entail as it relates to USF?
Yeah, it's a new role for us, so still trying to figure that out a little bit as we kind of grow. As we know, college athletics is expanding and changing on the daily, but a big part of what I do is Title IX. I oversee our track and field and cross-country programs, women's volleyball, and then I'll be adding beach as we look to expand and add beach volleyball, and do a lot of other administrative duties for us.
I want to follow up on the addition of beach volleyball. I think you've had a chance the last few days to visit with a lot of folks. Is there a real buzz around the ABCA convention when it comes to beach volleyball and USF athletics?
Definitely. People are knocking down the door, really excited. I think that it's a really special place in Tampa to be able to build a program for beach. It's something that we're real excited about and just ready to get things rolling.
Now, USF Athletics obviously has a ton of momentum going on right now. You look at a lot of the programs and the energy around it. How is it in terms of excitement when it comes to the athletic program in and around the community?
Yeah, I think, being on the inside, we have excitement all the time, and we hear that word potential all the time, and we think the stars are aligned, and we're ready to show the world what USF is capable of doing, so the excitement is real.
Now, you're a former student athlete, a gymnast at Mizzou, and you certainly have seen how things have continued to evolve for student athletes. You guys put a real priority on the student athlete experience. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to make sure your student athletes have a wonderful time during their 4 years at USF?
Yeah, I think honestly at USF, I think we do it better than a lot of people. We want to make sure that when they come into us, we're not just looking at them recruiting while they're here. We're looking at them, what we can help them with when they leave as well. So how can we help enhance their experience in all the ways: career, leadership, community, obviously getting their degree, having a great athletic experience in every possible avenue, and really looking to keep that relationship going long beyond their playing days.
That's awesome. Now, USF Athletics is a big member of Team Tampa Bay. How important is it to USF to be a part of all the different franchises and really be supportive of everything going on, such as hosting an event like the NCAA Volleyball Championship next December?
Yeah, it's so important. We're so grateful to be in a community like Tampa where we have so many great athletic opportunities from pro down to college and beyond. And grateful to work with you guys at the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, and we just feel so excited to have, honestly, another great event coming to Tampa Bay, but one that centers around women as well. So that's a really big point for us too.
I want to follow up on that because we just did the 50th anniversary of Title IX. You guys have obviously really leaned into women's sports programming. Why is that so important to you guys?
I think, women's athletics is so special. It provides such an opportunity for women to get out and really build their own brand, their own voice, and have just an avenue to be able to do that. And so we just want to create all the opportunities that we can to make that possible, which is partly why we're adding sports and really trying to build something where we feel like we can build something where the women's sports are maybe the best in the area, best in the state, really looking in that direction.
What can listeners do to support USF and the women's team specifically?
Yeah, well, we have an awesome program. It's called Stampede for Women, and that's a fundraising piece to help provide additional support above and beyond for all of our women's teams. So from a financial perspective, that would be an easy way. Come out and support any of our women's athletics events. Circulators, we're adding lacrosse and beach. It's a really exciting time to come and be a part of it and get on the front end of it, because this thing's going in good big places. So if you can get on the front end, it's even more exciting.
Absolutely. And last question, how much has USF enjoyed being the host institution on events like this, whether it's the Women's Final Four, to Men's March Madness, and now with the NCAA Volleyball Championship? What has that role meant to you guys?
Yeah, we love it. I've been here at USF for 12 years, so gotten to work with you guys on many of them, and we love getting our student athletes involved, all of our staff. It's a great opportunity for us to work together as a community to put on the best championship that the student athletes that are competing at can possibly have. So tons of opportunity, tons of great pieces, and I don't think anybody does it better than Tampa Bay.
Well said, Jodie. Thanks for all your time this week. It's been fun being in the meetings with you, taking a lot of notes and pictures, and it's going to be a great next year working and leading into this awesome event.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Rob.
What a year it's been in 2022 for the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. What a year it's going to be in 2023. Before we look ahead to what's coming in the year 2023, I just want to look back for a quick second, Rob. Obviously, I want to commend your team. This has been, from my perspective, I'm so grateful to have had kind of a front row seat to watch you and your team work, to kind of be in the driver's seat here for the Game Day Everyday podcast, to be alongside your crew. I'm so proud of what you all do to represent our town and bringing, these major events to our city. When you think of the year 2022, Rob, what stands out? What are some of the highlights, and how proud are you of the efforts of you and your team and what you've been able to accomplish?
Well, man, if I jumped into all the details, Ryan, we would need a part 3 looking back on 2022 with how much we we jammed into it. But you look back and from a major event side of things, having an opportunity to host the SEC men's basketball tournament again, another event that we hadn't had since 2009, but have worked really hard to get back here. It was just cool hearing how much those fans enjoyed it and how impressed they were with our hometown and all the improvements that have happened here, to an event that we've never hosted with the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in August. To work with USAG on their really crown jewel event was fantastic. That's naturally an event that we want to try to work hard to bring back in the future as well. To just countless youth and amateur events, Jason Augie and Tony Diaz and our entire team spend a tremendous amount of time on trying to recruit events that take place here each and every weekend. You may not hear about them quite as much as some of the bigger events, but they're very important to us. They're very important to our hospitality industry as they fill our hotels and our restaurants and our shops nearly each and every weekend. Around 200,000 room nights were filled through sports tourism this past year. So it's got a huge impact on our community. So there was a ton of great takeaways. Again, we could be here forever if we really recapped the entire year, but it was an awesome year, and truly we're grateful to all of our partners, whether it's our facilities, to our hotels, to the ancillary event venues, to our volunteers. It really takes a village for us to be successful, and we're fortunate to have, I'm biased, the best village around in order to be able to do this. So we're really grateful to them for all of their support in 2022.
As I said, as someone who gets a front row seat to watch you and your team work, it has been awesome to see kind of the revival, the bounce back, right, post pandemic. It's crazy to think, Rob, that just a couple of years ago, you and I were sitting in a convention center getting ready for Super Bowl 55, right, and getting ready for the opportunity to host one of the biggest events in the world. And here we are a couple of years later, watching our area thrive and getting ready for what's going to be an awesome and incredible 2023. And there's so many events coming to town that I know you and our team are so excited about, whether it's Supercross or the Frozen Four that is making a return here to Tampa Bay, or being able to host the Savannah Bananas here at George Steinbrenner Field. There's so much coming. The college volleyball championships, which we've spent, these last two part 1 and part 2 episodes talking about. As you look ahead to 2023, Rob, how excited are you for what our city is going to continue to do, the events we're going to host here, and how proud you are to continue to show off our awesome region as we prepare to bring more and more world-class events here to our city?
Yeah, I mean, if we thought 2022 was busy, wait until everybody sees 2023. You touched on Supercross and the Frozen Four and Savannah Bananas. We just announced the Road to Tampa Bay Invitational in August, and then going to be able to crown the national champion in December for NCAA volleyball as well. I mean, those are 5 fantastic events, and trust me, there'll be plenty others in between as well. So it's going to be an exciting 2023. It's going to be one that folks don't want to miss. Continue to stay tuned to our social media channels, as well as our website, tampabaysports.org, because it's going to be action-packed and electric, and it's going to be a year that none of us will ever forget.
It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to see what's to come in 2023. Grateful to be a part of it. I personally, Rob, want to thank you for allowing me to continue to, be a part of this team, as someone who's come in here and able to host this podcast, work alongside Joey and the incredible group that you have, from Claire to Tony to obviously yourself, Jason, and everybody. Grateful for our 2022 journey. And my friend, I'm very excited for what 2023 is going to bring. It's going to be an awesome year and happy to be a part of it. So thank you for allowing me to get this front row seat to watch your team work.
Yeah, don't get all emotional here to end the year, Ryan. We got to stay focused. It's going to be a fantastic year. We're going to finish strong in 2022, and then we're going to have an awesome 2023. So, I know you're an emotional guy. Let's just stay dialed in, because we got a great journey ahead. And thank you, by the way, for giving me a hall pass on not saying the Gameday Everyday podcast was my favorite part of 2022. It was up there, but I had to give the SEC and USAG some love.
I do love that. Look, as I wipe my tears away from all of the emotions of what we've gone through this year, I'll revert back to what I do best, which is asking you for favors. So let me end this 2022 and this part 2 podcast here with just a quick favor. You know, I've mentioned it before we started this podcast. My girlfriend is a big Buffalo Bills fan. Obviously, they're right now the #1 seed in the playoffs, have clinched a spot, you know, in the postseason. I hear a go Bills from downstairs here as I'm here in Buffalo. The only request that I had to put in, Rob, you've got some connections with the NFL. So, you know, if the Bills make it to the Super Bowl, I might need you to help put in a phone call just for 2 tickets. That's all I ask. 2 tickets to the Super Bowl in Arizona. I don't think that's too much to ask just from your loving, you know, co-host here on the Game Day Everyday podcast, right?
Absolutely not. We want to wish everybody a great holiday season and a happy new year. We truly appreciate you guys listening. We love that you're a part of this journey, and we can't wait to continue that on into the new year.
In all seriousness, we love you guys. We're so appreciative for all your support for the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, the Game Day Everyday podcast. Rob, my friend, a happy holidays to you and the entire family. You know how much love I have for you and your team. I hope it is a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And cheers to 2023, my friend. Here's my Pure Life water. I'll give you a little cheers into the screen because it is going to be a heck of a, oh, look at that. Nice product placement for you, my friend. Nice product placement. Always working hard here to make sure that our partners are well represented. Rob, happy holidays, my friend. Cheers to a great 23. Let's get it, buddy.
All right. Thanks, my friend.